President Bongbong Marcos eyes stronger ties with Washington in his 5-day visit to the United States. The U.S. says it stands with the Philippines amid Beijing's provocative conduct in the South China Sea. And the tenement court in The Hague gets a new look in time for this year's FIBA World Cup. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. We begin the newscast with President Bongbong Marcos leaving the country for a 5-day working visit to the United States. In his departure speech, Marcos Jr. said he will reaffirm the country's long-standing alliance with Washington. He is set to meet with his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden, for a bilateral talk as well as with various American business leaders.
I intend to convey to President Biden and his senior cabinet officials that the President is determined to forge an even stronger relationship with the United States.
Now, prior to that, the President graced the Labor Department's job fair in Pasay City, where he led the distribution of government aid to workers. Marcos Jr. vowed to address labor concerns and strengthen the country's workforce through livelihood programs.
Maingat at unti-unti nating binubuksan at pinapasigla ang ating ekonomiya upang magbalikan at dumami ang mga negosyo at mga namumuhunan. Iisa lang naman ang ating hangarin. Ito ay ang magkaroon ng isang mas magandang buhay, mas matatag na kinabukasan para sa ating lahat.
The United States reaffirms its support for the Philippines over disputes in the West Philippine Sea. In a statement, the U.S. State Department called on China to stop harassing Philippine vessels in our exclusive economic zone. The State Department also warned about invoking mutual defense commitments should there be an armed attack against the Philippines. Meanwhile, Australian envoy to the Philippines, HKU, described China's move as dangerous and called for peace and stability in the disputed waters. The statement came after a Chinese Coast Guard ship blocked the Philippine vessel from going to a union show last week, almost causing a collision. Meanwhile, 4 people are missing following a maritime incident off Tubataha, Palawan. The Coast Guard said it received a report about the sinking of a dive yacht MY Dreamkeeper on Sunday morning. The BRP Melchora Aquino was then immediately dispatched for search and rescue operations. Now, according to the PCG, at least 28 people have been rescued while 4 others remain missing. Meanwhile, the death toll in the collision of 2 foreign flag ships off Corregidor has climbed to 3. 2 members of the Sierra Leone flagged and MV Honghai 189 are still missing. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The famous Taguig Tenement Basketball Court gets a new look as part of the activities for this year's FIBA Basketball World Cup. For more details, we have mobile journalist Francis Orsho reporting to us this afternoon. Francis, can you tell us the latest?
Riza, organizers from FIBA proudly unveiled the new design of the tenement court this afternoon. There's also a large mural featuring the famous FIBA mascot and some basketball icons. The unveiling was attended by several personalities from Gilas, Pilipinas like Japet Aguilar, Jumar Fajardo, and Jason Castro. VIPs from FIBA also graced the event, including FIBA Secretary General Andrea Zaclis, Basketball World Cup 2023 Chairman Richard Carrion, and Executive Director David Crocker. FIBA officials underscored the importance of having a court like the tenement as this hones the skills of players. The famous 2023 Basketball World Cup Naismith Trophy was also displayed during the event. Last December, the tenement was voted as the best basketball court in the world in a FIBA survey, taking over 50% of the votes. NBA stars like LeBron James, Paul George, and Jordan Clarkson had also visited the famed court. Riza, members of the tenement community now have the chance to be the first one to play on the revamped court. Riza?
Thank you. That was Francis Orsho reporting to us live from the tenement in Taguig City. Meanwhile, the stage is set for the 2023 FIBA World Cup with the teams now divided into groups. The Philippines is in Group A with Angola, Dominican Republic, and Italy. The Philippines faced Angola and Italy 4 years ago in the previous edition of the Cup in China. Italy steamrolled Gilas with a 46-point lead in their Group D opener, while Angola beat the team in overtime to finish the group games. Meanwhile, Gilas lost to Dominican Republic with a 27-point deficit in the Olympic qualifying tournament last year. Now for head coach Chotan Reyes, Gilas Pilipinas will be in a difficult position, but for now, forming the right team is his main concern.
Regardless, it's going to be a tough group. But after this draw, my attitude really is it's not ideal, but could have been better. I thought that last pick, I had wished it was Cote d'Ivoire instead of Angola, because Angola is tough. Not that Cote d'Ivoire isn't tough, but I think Angola is tougher. But like I said, it is what it is.
With the coronation of the King Charles III just around the corner, people are now preparing to mark the event in the most quintessentially British way, an afternoon tea. Now, a top chief in London shares his secret in this video.
If the scone is what scone, now I don't even know what I'm saying. My name's Roger Pisey and I'm the Executive Pastry Chef at Fortnum & Mason. We do between 2,800 to 3,500 a week. What I look for in a good afternoon tea is I look for a nice range of sandwiches. You should definitely start with the sandwiches first. You start with the savoury sandwiches, then you move up the stand to the scones. There is a Devon and Cornwall fight about the order in which you should eat your scones, or scones, depending where you come from. So you cut the scones in half, and what do you put on first? You put the cream on first, and then the jam, or do you put the jam on first and then the cream? Now, I come from Manchester, which got nowhere near the South Coast, and I prefer, being a pastry chef as well, I prefer the jam first and then the cream after. So aesthetically it looks better, and also you can get more cream on. And then you can go to the top tier with the patisseries. Alcohol, yes or no for afternoon tea? I guess it depends on what company you're with. Champagne is great with afternoon tea. I like tea with afternoon tea. Brewing tea is really important. You need to have fresh water because you need the water to be aerated as it boils. It brings out the flavour of the tea bag. And not to stew the tea too long. I think the most important thing for being invited to afternoon tea, if you're making it, is to make it something that you enjoy making. So don't try something you've never made before. Stop trying to spend too much time. If you try and follow the savoury to sweet, that's always a good measure. As for teas, you know, as long as you do a great tea, it'll work really well.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again tomorrow as we monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.